everyone, and welcome to the LazerDude99 Q&A. Thank you all for commenting, and I will be going through each and every one of these questions. But before I get started, there are a few questions that I won't be answering. The ones that are like suggestions for top 10 lists or top 5 lists, I won't be, like there's some I will, but I won't be answering some of those because some of those might be lists that I want to do in the future and I don't want to give it away here. And there are just some questions that the person asking wasn't actually trying to get to know me. They were asking something that's a personal question that was just not appropriate, so I'm not answering those ones. But with that being said, let's get to these questions. The first one is from Christian Knight, who says, I know these are going to be completely different questions, so just bear with me. Who was your favorite character in Young Justice? Mine was personally Artemis, but I would like to know who yours/your favorite storyline was. My favorite character, it's not going to be any big surprise. It was, Robin Nightwing. Dick Grayson has always been one of my favorite comic book characters of all time, and, to see him portrayed on Young Justice, it was really, really cool. But if you want to ask me which characters I was surprised that I started liking a lot, that would be definitely Miss Martian and Superboy. Like, Artemis, I figured from the beginning I was going to like Artemis, so I wasn't surprised when I ended up liking Artemis. But for the thing that I was really surprised with Miss Martian and Superboy was how deep their character dynamics went. Especially for Miss Martian, I was so surprised how much character depth they gave her, and this character who I thought was just going to be a ditzy little alien just got so much stuff that was deep character drama, and I was really surprised how much they did that with Miss Martian, and how they made Superboy, who I thought was just going to be a raging, I'm the angry one type character, into someone who harnesses that for good, and is actually a good contrast to the way Superman is. So, favorite character is Nightwing, but most character that I was surprised that I liked was definitely Miss Martian and Superboy. Favorite storyline, I'll save that for my top 100 superhero animated TV episodes, which will be coming eventually. Next might be the most thought-provoking question ever. If you did not live in Canada, where else would you find yourself living? The United States. No big surprise. See, the thing is, it's not for any particular reason. It's not like, well, as a Canadian, I hold Canada as number 1 and America as number 2. It's just, I would probably want to live in the country that I feel is most like Canada, even though the United States aren't like Canada in the fact that there's a lot of differences between Canadian culture and American culture. I can at least experience parts of Canadian culture in the States and not, be seen as I'm the odd one. I can enjoy hockey in Canada and in the United States, and I'm sure I'll find many people in the United States that enjoy hockey as well. I can talk about different things that I like, that I enjoy because I'm a Canadian, that other people in the United States can as well. So it's all about relatability, not too much there. Trust me, sorry to say, but that wasn't the most thought-provoking question. SFighter00, sup, ask, for my Q&A question, what is the worst movie you've seen this year? Now, if it was going for movie theaters, if it was going for movies I saw in theaters, it's hard because I gave 3 movies this year a 4 out of 10. And they were Lucy, Blended, and the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie. And it's really interesting because on the level of which ones do I actually care about, which I would hope, which actually have characters I want, is TMNT. So the way that it hits me, the fact that it's so disappointing, most of the story makes absolutely no sense. That one pisses me off almost the most, I would think the most, because they're about characters that I actually like. But that's not really the case. Adam Sandler, even though Blended was just so bland and it was just, so typical, there's nothing really about the movie that I hated so much. It was just a forgettable flick. Lucy drove me nuts. Lucy was this one movie where part of it was because of my brothers and sisters. They liked it, not all of them, but some of them really liked it, and I was just so mad. I'm like, this is stupid. This movie is stupid and is trying to portray itself as smart. But for worst movie I've seen this year, period, that's not it. this stinking movie. Oh my gosh, I hated this. This is Avengers Confidential, Black Widow, and Punisher. You know what? That is an outright lie. This movie, everything is wrong with it. I do not like a single thing about this. I was looking at this and I'm like, look, it's an anime Marvel thing. I'm not normally into the anime parts for Marvel, but you know what? I'll give this a shot. My gosh, I wish I didn't. Every moment I was watching this film, I had to pause it and like scream at the television. This is without a doubt the worst superhero animated movie that I've ever seen. I mean, okay, it's called Avengers Confidential. The Avengers only show up in the last 5 minutes of this film. It's about Black Widow and Punisher, but Black Widow, she comes across as a ditzy, you know, like cheerleader. It's like, the voice doesn't match, the mannerisms doesn't match, and get this, she was dating this guy, but this guy didn't think he was good enough for Black Widow, so what does he do? Oh, he joins a terrorist group and gets superpowers, so she will like him. Dude, I don't think that joining a terrorist group will get a girl who already likes you to like you more! My gosh, I hated this stupid film. The animation was horrible, the dialogue was dumb. I'm glad I got that out. This movie was definitely the worst movie I've seen this year. Stephen Penio, I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that right, says, what is your favorite non-superhero cartoon? Avatar: The Last Airbender. You know, it's really interesting because 2 years ago, I hadn't seen any of this thing. Now, I love it. I love Avatar: The Last Airbender. It is, without a doubt, one of the best TV shows ever made. Like, the characterizations, the humor, the villains, the story, the depth of emotion that these characters are given is absolutely incredible. It's definitely at a higher level than... And the thing is, I avoided seeing this for so long. I avoided seeing it. I was just like, no, I don't really want. That looks weird in Japanese style. I don't want to see it. And then, thank you Netflix, because I was on Netflix. I'm like, Avatar, everyone's always talking about that. Why don't I just take a peek? I saw the first episode. I'm like, nah, it's okay. You know, it's not great. It's okay. I'll watch another one. You know, it's okay. Next one, it's okay. Third one, it's a good show. By the time it ended in the second season, I'm just like, oh my gosh, I love this show. One of the great... It was like, I don't remember what happened between I started watching it and by the time I ended it. I'm just like, what happened? What day is it? I've just been... Holy shoot. It was like instant fanboy. As soon as the show hit its stride and kept going, I was hooked, and that's definitely my favorite non-superhero cartoon. S1 Feox. No. A question. A question. Hours later. What if Batman went rogue? I mean, how do you envision this happening? And what might he do to get more powerful? A Batman without a conscience or restraint. Don't judge me. That's what I think about when I'm bored. Well, I kind of mentioned this in my previous Q&A, but I'll go over it again. I have this idea of a story of what would happen if Batman went rogue. And, you know, the story would basically be Joker would do something. I don't know what he'd do. It could be he, blows up a fair bit of Gotham and killing Alfred, Catwoman, basically almost killing each and every one he loves. And then you see, like, 5 years, 10 years, maybe something later in the future, where Batman has basically taken over the world, but not in the way that Batman's our brutal dictator. You see something like Injustice, where Superman's taken over the world, and, and gone evil, and you expect to see, like, the posters with Superman on the wall that says, I am watching you, because he's a big powerhouse. I would like it to be like Batman has taken over the world, but nobody knows because he's so dark and mysterious in the shadows. You know, like he'll have sleeper agents and people working for him in each government, but they're all working for him, but nobody knows that on the outside. But there are harsher, you know, rules being put in place and harsher laws being put in place. And I would think that Batman would take some of his villains and make them work for him, or else he'll kill them. Here's what I always had an envision of. We'd see it through the eyes of the Riddler, who's seen Batman masterfully take over the world in this way. Then I would, what the point is, at a point of the story, you'd see a turning point. And then at a point in the story, here's what would happen. See, for the heroes, for the other heroes in the world, eventually, of course, they would catch on, but I would think this is when the dark side of Batman would be able to take them out. Like, people, how about the world is happy because the world has free energy, but little did they know the free energy is literally being ripped out of Superman, and he is being basically blasted with these machines that are sucking the solar energy that his body absorbs to get his super strength, and he's powering the world by that. The only thing is it's causing Superman extreme pain forever, basically, and he's just stuck there. You know, Batman has enough sunlight coming through that powers Superman so he can power the city, but not enough that Superman can break through his bonds. But then there would be an uprising, right? And it would be led by Nightwing. And Nightwing would be, you know, trying to show... it would be, you know, it'd play on the whole character, how the extremes that Batman's gone to. And here's the thing. I always wanted to have the moment where Riddler talks about how when Batman went over and kills Joker, that, you know, in the Joker's final moments, he pleaded for mercy. And Batman then continued to torture him, and you know, I thought that would be a cool image. But then I thought, what if he doesn't kill the Joker? What if the thing that puts him over the edge isn't Batman killing the Joker, but allowing him to become that close? And then you get later in the story, you find out that Batman has the Joker's brains and organs still keeping his mind alive and in constant pain and suffering till they become too old. But he keeps them in a perfect way that the brain... I don't know. I got real dark and twisted with this story, but I thought that would be the way. Batman would take over, but he wouldn't let the world know that it was him. And he'd use his villains' powers and assets to his advantage. And stuff like that. Stuff like that would be how I envisioned it. Eli Clark is, what is your favorite non-superhero comic book series of all time? I actually don't have that many. I've been hearing a whole lot of good things about IDW's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles run. So I saw it on the internet and I clicked it and I ordered it. And then when I came in, I realized that this wasn't the Ninja Turtles run from IDW. It was a compilation of the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle comics. So that is what I got, which was, you know, I'm reading it. It's actually pretty interesting to see how these stories got big all of a sudden. These guys were making stuff up as they went, but they were actually quite creative and quite really well done. But my favorite would probably have to be Jonah Hex. I don't have a lot of Jonah Hex because I am mostly superhero comics, but I have enough of Jonah Hex that I really like Jonah Hex. I think he's an amazing character. He's almost a superhero in his own right, but he's not. He doesn't have powers. He doesn't have powers! Acid Blast 2, the sequel. No, Acid Blast 2 says, Q&A, if you were forced to reboot Green Lantern, X-Men, or Batman, which would you choose and how would you go about it? Casting, story style, etc. Well, here's the thing. Batman's already going to be getting his reboot. X-Men basically just got rebooted with Days of Future Past, so I don't need to touch any of them. I think you just wanted me to talk about what I do for Green Lantern. Okay, fair enough. Green Lantern, I'd do it again. I would want... the story, the biggest problem with one of the biggest problems with the Green Lantern movie is that they went too big. Parallax should not have been the first villain. It is like going to the big thing right away, and they kind of ruined Parallax and fused him with Chrono anyway. I think that the first one should be about the Manhunters. The first one should be about the Manhunters. You have Hal and Sinestro training Hal, and you make it a buddy cop film, but you show the darker side of Sinestro. And then it would be in the beginning of the second film would be where you would, disgrace Sinestro and have Sinestro become super powerful with the yellow ring and whatnot. But, I would say that would be story. For casting, I'm not usually good with casting. Let's see. Who would I want for Hal Jordan? You don't need someone who can play cocky, but, You know who would have been perfect? Nathan Fillion 20 years ago. Or 10 years. I don't know. Nathan Fillion's got too old for it, and he plays Green Lantern on the animated movies, which is always good. But, and he voices him so well. And he actually has the look of a Hal Jordan. It's just, he's too old for it now. He's in his 40s something? Either way, he doesn't have the look of a young Hal Jordan, I don't think. Maybe, I don't know how old he is. Somebody put how old he is. I might be leaping and jumping to conclusions. But as for who would I want as Green Lantern, I don't know. I took a long, hard time thinking about it. I don't know. I'm not good with casting. Maybe if I saw a picture of someone like, oh, maybe he could. But as for right now, my mind's just going blank. So as for style, I would try to keep it very science fiction, keep it off Earth as much as possible. I'd want it to be like The Day That Never Ends. As soon as Hal Jordan gets the ring and goes up into space, I want that to feel like The Day That Never Ends, because then you'd have like him getting trained, and then you go from training to him about to be sent back, and then Sinestro, takes him on this scouting mission. Then also the Manhunters come, and then you would do that whole thing, and I think that would be the way to go. Just have him when he returns to Earth, just be like at the end of the movie, and just be like, wow, what the heck just happened? I can't return to a regular life, obviously, but he's just keeping it to space as much as possible. That was the problem with another problem with the Green Lantern movie, is they tried to keep it on Earth a whole lot. And I don't think that's where it needs to be. I think it needs to be in space. There's Ali K, and this one, I can't, as he has a whole bunch of top 10 movies of the decade, top 10 comic book movies of all time, top 20 graphic novel. Those are top 10 lists. I'm not doing them in the Q&A. Sorry, but I'm going to have to skip your question. Sorry. Thanks for subscribing. Ty Naves, Q&A. What do you think of this TV series Dexter on Netflix? It's on Netflix. I saw a little bit of Dexter. Not too much. My cousin was into it, and he started watching it, and I would just sometimes see some episodes. I wasn't watching it. The thing is, I can't really get into shows that much that have absolutely horrible protagonists. I don't care what reason this guy was killing people, if he felt it was right or if they were bad people. No, I just can't accept that. I mean, a serial killer is a serial killer, and it doesn't matter if he comes home and he has a wife. Somebody who's doing that is not mentally sound and shouldn't be considered a hero. It's the same with Breaking Bad. People want me to watch Breaking Bad. I'm just like, no, I don't want to watch a TV show about a drug dealer, because if they're horrible people, I can't relate to that, and I don't want to relate to that. So no, I haven't watched Dexter. Do you like the movie Fargo? You know what? I wish I was able to finish Fargo. We started watching it a while ago, and my parents were like, this is boring, let's turn it off. But I'm like, but I'm into it. And they're like, no, let's watch something else. So I never got to finish it. I'll probably get around to it sometime. What do you think of Netflix? I think Netflix is probably the way, it is starting the wave of the future. In 5 years, discs are going to be a thing of the past. 5 years. I'm calling it right here. In 5 years, we're going to be slowly edging out DVDs. It's already happening. Why do you think almost every Blu-ray you ever buy comes with a digital copy or an ultraviolet copy? It's already happening. It's well on its way. Digital stuff is going to be the way of the future, and it's kind of sad because I prefer to have a DVD or even a VHS. I like those. I love to actually have it in my hand rather than... Let me put it this way. I bought some movies and I put them on ultraviolet. I haven't watched anything on ultraviolet. That's just me. I'm not interested in it, so yeah. But it's going to be the way of the future, and eventually people are just going to have to accept it. One generation from now, DVDs are going to be a thing of the past. I am Superman Batman 1993. I wonder if that's like a specific date for some reason. First question, what is your name? What is your question? What is your favorite color? I already did this bit in my last Q&A. I'm not doing it again. Read, review movies, and... Oh, wait. Ah, shoot. I got the order wrong. But in all seriousness, here are the actual questions. What is your top 5 favorite James Bond films? My favorite one is Casino Royale. Just like you said, for me it would go like this: Casino Royale, Skyfall, From Russia with Love, GoldenEye, License to Kill. For me it would be Casino Royale, GoldenEye would be next, and I haven't seen as much as you have, obviously. I remember liking Goldfinger, but that one is just like there's a lot of stuff wrong with it when I rewatch it. But I wouldn't call out one of my favorites. It's just it has the Aston Martin, and that's what makes it really cool. What's the one with? Shoot, Die Hard. Not Die Hard. Shoot, now I can't. The one with the news guy and the remote control drivable car. It's like Die Another Day. No, Die Another Day is the worst James Bond movie ever. Shoot. Tomorrow Never Dies. I think that's it. Tomorrow Never Dies. That's it. Tomorrow Never Dies. That one is one of them. But Casino Royale, Skyfall, GoldenEye, Tomorrow Never Dies, and Goldfinger. We'll go with that. 2. What is your favorite moments from The Simpsons? The one that I've probably laughed the hardest at is from the Halloween episode where they're making fun of The Shining, where Homer goes, "Give me the bat, Marge! Give me the bat! Give me the bat!" Scaredy cat. Ah! Then he falls down this... I don't know why, but that one made me laugh hard. When he just looks in the mirror, screams, and falls down the stairs. That is probably my favorite Simpsons moment. It's the one I laugh the hardest at. What of your favorite actors and actresses? Mine are Liam Neeson and Eva Green, even though most of my friends are not shocked about the latter one. Well, dude, you are obsessed with Eva Green. It's like every second post for you. Just kidding. Anyway, my favorite actors, for actors of all time, would be Harrison Ford, Christian Bale, and some people might say, but it's Batman voice. Guys, he's been in other things, and he's been really good. So, Harrison Ford, Christian Bale. I would say Bruce Willis, but that guy is really starting to annoy me recently, so it's kind of off the favorite list for right now. Get your act together, dude. For comedic actors, I love Jim Carrey. He's probably my favorite comedian in movies. I don't know, there's a lot of great... for actresses, the best one right now in Hollywood, I gotta say, is Jennifer Lawrence. She just kills it in everything she does. I've never seen her in anything bad. Well, I don't like First Class, but that's me personally. A lot of people like it. But basically, Jennifer Lawrence, I think, is the future for acting. I mean, she's going to be the Meryl Streep of the next generations. Because for our generation, we still have Meryl Streep, and Meryl Streep is been nominated for everything. And I think that while Jennifer Lawrence won't be in the same style of movies as Meryl Streep, at least not all the time, obviously, I think that her style of acting is going to land her with... If she hasn't already, she's gonna have her own star on the Walk of Fame. Another actress that is gonna be definitely around during the future, Chloe Grace Moretz. She is great. But for all-time favorite actresses, I like Linda Carter. Can't go wrong with Linda Carter. Emma Stone. Emma Stone is absolutely amazing. She is incredible. Yeah, those are the ones I'm going with for right now. Who would you rather cast as Batman instead of Ben Affleck? I say Michael Fassbender. No, Michael Fassbender's already Magneto, so I wouldn't do that. But I'll tell you what I would do. After seeing Judge Dredd, not Judge Dredd 3D, I will say that I wanted Carl Urban to play Batman so bad. And someone might say, but he's British, isn't he? Is he? Wait, am I confusing my actors? Anyway, even if he was, I'd be like, well, so is Christian Bale. So I would say Carl Urban. He was the one I was hoping for. Oh well. I'm looking forward to what Ben Affleck is going to do. What would you be your favorite and least favorite nostalgia critic? My favorite includes Batman and Robin, Pearl Harbor, blah, blah, blah. And my least favorite includes Man of Steel. I think Man of Steel is a funny review. I don't agree with him, but that doesn't mean the review isn't funny. My favorite would be... See, his reviews are always... his new ones, actually, a lot of them have a lot of stuff in it that, kind of trumps his older ones. For his older ones, I would say my favorites would be... Well, I like the Batman and Robin review. But my favorites would be Moulin Rouge. And I like the Captain America review. And for his newer ones, I would say AI is probably the one I watched the most. Mostly because, A, his constant making fun of TMZ is absolutely hilarious. And B, just the way he breaks down the story. Because I liked AI, and I won't say that I liked it as much as I did before watching the review. But I still think that if I watched AI, I wouldn't hate it as much as he did. But I will admit that ending, I always did call BS on that. And then his review of the Lorax was pretty good. And, yeah, that's about all I gotta say for it right now. Least favorites, a lot of people hated Bart's Nightmare. I didn't care too much. I mean, I don't hate it. The ones that see, sometimes the movies are so bad that even him making fun of it doesn't take the badness away. Like the Garbage Pail Kids review, I've only think I've ever watched it once because that movie looks so disgusting and horrible that I can't stand it. His reviews on something like Last Action Hero, I mean, there's, I don't know, I didn't fully care for it. There's a couple of it's just not all the jokes always hit. That's what I gotta say about that. What are among your favorite comic books of all time? Mine include. Okay, I'm gonna skip yours. This is about me. Mine is my most favorite, of course, is The Dark Knight Returns. Then I like Batman Year One, Long Halloween. I like Watchmen, but I wouldn't say it's one of my favorites. It's one of the best ever written, but it's not something that I'd like to get down and read every now and then. I read Watchmen when I want to get deep and philosophical, but it's not one I want to read a book. There's also The Tornado's Path. That's Justice League comic book that I really love. Trinity's a good one. Have you ever considered redoing your top 10 sci-fi films? I would hear you talk more about I would to hear you talk about Minority Report. What? Learn how to write. Okay, grammar. I hate these word crimes. Anyway, would I redo it? I don't know. I mean, a lot of my old top 10 lists, they aren't as high quality as my last top 10 list that I've done really was the one that was full 10 was my top 10 characters I wanted in Injustice, Gods Among Us. But before that, it was my top 10 comic book locations. This top 100 list has really put a halt any other top 10 list. I mean, like, I keep on thinking, hey, that would make a good top 10 list. Oh, right, I'm still not done the top 100 list. Oh, hey, that would make a good top... Oh, right, I'm still not done this top 100 list. So, probably not in anytime soon. Moving on. German Gunner 123 says, what is your most hated movie of all time? Disaster movie is those stupid parody movies that are just absolutely there just to make a buck. And so they write a script that a 2-year-old could do a better job at. And disaster movie is one of those movies they keep on throwing joke after joke after joke. But what I really should say is they keep on throwing recognizable item from a different movie after recognizable item from a different movie. And none of it's funny! It's all annoying, stupid, and just outright wrong. The jokes go on too long. They are pointless. There is no punchline. Every single moment is just bad. Disaster movie is one of those movies that I pray that I never have to watch ever again. And I don't care if anyone says, well, the first scary movies were actually pretty good. I don't care. I will never purposely, unless I want to review it or just to spout off on how horrible these things are and should not even have the same title as movies, I will never ever watch any of those things ever again. Oh boy, calm down there, man. Hey, it's LazerDude99. This Q&A is going to be a little long, so I'm breaking it up into parts. This is part 1, of course, and this is the end of part 1, so make sure you join me when I do the next part of this Q&A, see if your questions will be answered.